Welcome back to My Mother's Daughter podcast, where we choose to focus on the controllables, jump off the hamster wheel of grief, and take steps to honoring our loved ones by living a life filled with gratitude, joy, and abundance. It's time to get stubborn about what we want and choose to lean into who we were meant to be, while drinking too much caffeine, owning way more workout pants than we'd like to admit, and dreading that nightly dinner talk almost as much as waking up early. You feel me, sister? I'm Angel McElhaney, motherless daughter, positive psychology junkie, and not so master juggler of my crazy crew. And I believe that you can heal and find happiness after loss. So grab that coffee, put down that to-do list, and let's get to work. One day at a time, together. Let's get started with today's show. Welcome back to My Mother's Daughter podcast, where we are going to interview Maren Emily, a time management hype woman and organization enthusiast. She creates long-lasting change in women's lives through intentional time management and organization strategies. I'm so excited for you all to meet her. I know that she is crushing it with helping people with their small habits and routines, and I know for a fact these will help people with major changes in their lives. Welcome to the show, Maren.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you here too. And I know that, first of all, I wanted to tell everyone how we met. I think that this is huge for community, especially in this time right now where everyone is isolated from the world. I am, as they know, but an 8 wing 7, and that 7 in me, like that extrovert part is like, oh my gosh, what day is it? Like I can't handle it. So yeah. I feel like, so when you asked to do, you're like, do you want to do video on this call? I was like, sure, I haven't seen a person in a while. And actually, I see you. All right. So, but yeah, so
thriving.
So my husband is a 5, and I feel like, so he's been still going off to work, but he needs that like withdrawal time. And so he would be, if we were flipped and I was going off to work and like the road, like had my little bubble, I'm fine with a little bubble, but I need some people, but that's okay. It's for a good reason and all. But yeah. So yeah, for those of you, I just want to inform you, I actually met Maren in a group. It was called Don't Keep Your Day Job by Kathy Heller, and I really loved what she was doing in the group. And I'll let you explain a little bit more about that, but it just gave me this sense of, I guess, hope for how we should be treating each other, how we shouldn't be in lack, especially with business and toilet paper, but really with just everything, and that there's enough to go around for everyone, and that I just really loved what you were doing in there. But first, you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and I guess about your business and all that.
Sure. So like you mentioned, I am a time management hype woman because I literally bring it up in every conversation I ever have with anybody ever. But really, I just teach people time management systems and organization systems that work for their lives. And I should have guessed that this would be what I'm going to do, because when I was 5, 6, and 7 years old, I wanted to organize my friends' rooms instead of playing. So it should have been a sign, but I ended up going into other things, getting a degree in something else. And long story short, I ended up working 6 years in retail, and I despised like every day of my life for 6 years. And one day I said, I can't do this anymore. I am going to lose my mind. And the next day I got news that my company was closing. And
you put it out in the world, and it was like, answered.
The world responded the next day, and I was like, okay, this is my time. I need to actually do what I want to do. So I started this business of time management and organization. And even before I was selling and having clients, I started reaching out in Facebook groups. Like, I don't even want to make money. I just want to help you people with your time management issues.
Well, and
so that is how we met.
Yeah, that's exactly how we met. And I love that. And I thought, like, I mean, that is so just generous, and it's putting you around people that are going to use your service and honestly rave about you, because that's just amazing. So, but I just want to point out, because you mentioned that you were basically losing your job, but you were able to kind of flip it and see it as an opportunity. And I didn't even know that part of the story, but I feel like a lot of us are in that point right now. And yeah, I didn't even know that. Wow. And so I feel like that is a good way, good perspective, because a lot of people, I don't know, they have time right now. And so that could be the time that they are maybe putting in more time into putting in what they actually want to do, or that they find joy in, or helping other people, because there's definitely a shortage on that. And at least we have Wi-Fi, right? You know, to connect with
my
the
God.
world.
Yeah. Don't think so. When I told people that I was losing my job, they were like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And I was like, "No, I am thrilled. I'm taking this as a good thing." And so obviously I don't want to be thrilled in this situation, you know, with people's health, but I will try and find the positive in that I am home every day now, all day. So I have so much time to help. So I think I've posted in about 7 or 8 groups, like, what can I help you with? And I have just been answering emails all day, getting people systems that they want.
Well, and I do know that a lot of people are experience a lot of change right now. I mean, a lot of parents are now teachers. They're having to homeschool their kids and kind of do that role, and they're not used to it. Or, you know, if you're at home and you're not following any kind of schedule and time blocking that day, or focusing on your own health, you are going to really fall into this trap of like the days falling into the night, you know, like cycling. It's not breaking it up. So do you have any tips for us for how to manage that, or even maybe even speaking to the fact that, so when you lost your job and you decided you wanted to do this, you mentioned that you helped other people in groups. Like, what did you do next? Like, how do you get to do what you want?
Once I started helping people, within a few days, my confidence had skyrocketed to, oh, I have the skills that I was, you know, doubting before because I hadn't done it. And suddenly I was just so empowered and so much more confident to actually get it going. So then I created an Instagram specifically for it, just small steps. The website came later, but I really just started in Facebook and Instagram, just talking to people. And it really came from just interacting. I had heard that so many times, just interact, just talk to people. And I was like, but what do I say? It just comes from practicing, really.
I love that. And I love that basically out there, someone's thinking like, oh, I want to do this. And they're thinking that no one needs that, or that I can't do that, or someone can do, or already is doing that. But there are so many people in the world, and there's such an abundance of need of what you have, like, you know, of that thing that you have. And you know what? Oh, if you see someone that does it too, they don't do it like you do, you know? And so I love that, that you were able to flip that, and then also pay it forward and just start. Like sometimes just starting, like getting the messy action. I'm pretty sure before we jumped on here, I explained how I'm not downstairs in my nice organized office. It's half organized. I was working on that. But my computer is on a turned upside down laundry basket, and I'm hiding in my room for my 4 kids and all that. And the dog is here, actually. She got to be admitted into here, so if you hear my dog. But it's just sometimes about just doing the thing, like the messy action. And so I know that you have a lot of value to give to us when it comes to tips for kind of stepping into this new role. Do you have any? I know you just mentioned with the boosting your self-confidence by just doing the thing, starting an Instagram, and then what do I do next?
Well, I liked how you said if you have the desire to do it, someone needs it. I truly believe that if you have, you know, within you the desire to do something, there is a need for it. I don't feel like people have that desire just for no reason. So there is validity in what you have to offer for everybody. I truly believe that. And the next thing is, I used to take this advice when people would say, you know, messy action, just start. And I would be like, but how? I just didn't know what that meant. I'm a very literal person. And so I wanted an exact step. So I will try to give as exact of a step I can give.
Okay.
And that is to think of what you are good at and not necessarily exactly what your business is going to be, and just offer help to the world. When I started interacting in Facebook groups, I just kind of said some things I was good at. Some of them were related to my business, some weren't. And a woman responded and said, "Can you edit my cover letter?" And I was like, "Sure." It's not, I can do it. It's not related to my business. And she ended up buying my course. I never even tried to sell it to her. I just pitched her, or didn't try to pitch her anything. I just edited her cover letter, and she said, "So what do you do?" And it kind of went from there. So just offer things out to people, and the relationships will come from that.
Well, it's kind of putting out those good vibes, that good energy, and then it kind of bounces back to you. And so I really love that. I love that you said that, because a lot of people don't realize, they think like they're just so egocentrical, and it's not our fault. Like, we're just made that way, you know, to initially, like, you almost have to make yourself realize, like, right now, everyone's so lack in scarcity and holding on to everything, but it's like, really, that produces lack. So you're like, you know, need to adjust that energy a bit. So
yes, the real shift happened when I didn't want anything in return.
Yeah,
I had offered things in the past, and I had done it because I wanted something in return, and no engagement, nothing. And so really, it really truly is that shift. I know it sounds kind of wild, but I truly believe in that.
all right. So do you have any other tips? And I know that you mentioned about the time management part, which, so you might not know this, but actually my degree is in teaching, which is actually now valuable. I was not using it before, right? Now all of a sudden I'm homeschooling. We're on spring break, but starting next week. So I guess I will be using that degree. But for those of the world that's not, or maybe they're feeling overwhelmed, like do you have any tips for us when it comes to your wealth of knowledge with time management, to manage their day or manage their stress, all of the things that they have to do, all the hats?
Yeah, and there's so much, but to simplify in this crazy time, which I think is really important, there's one thing I would start with, and it kind of goes off of what you said earlier, where the days run into nights. So as soon as we were put on social isolation here in Minnesota, my sleep schedule got completely out of whack, and I ended up like accidentally pulling an all-nighter, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's 6 a.m. What the heck happened?" And that was stressful. I am someone that loves my sleep. So the thing I would suggest is setting a morning routine and an evening routine. It starts your day and ends your day. It gets you in the habit. It makes these wild days feel a little bit more normal. And it doesn't have to be a crazy long meditation hour or something. My morning routine is literally that I just make an iced latte. And that signals the start of my day. And then the end of my day is I can read one page if I'm exhausted. Just reading signals the end. So really start with those two to kind of bookmark your day and give it a normal time frame.
What I've noticed with me is that if you start some in your routine, it almost like that nighttime routine, it almost like makes you tired already. Like, you won't be tired, and then you just start the routine. Like, maybe you wash your face or you brush your teeth, and then all of a sudden, by the time you open the book, I'm like, ooh, now I'm really tired. So, and it is really hard to like stop an activity, or to start an activity. But like, if someone has a goal of trying to read more books, like even just thinking, I'm just going to read a page a day, then they will find that they're probably reading much more, so I think that is more manageable, especially if someone's wanting to get healthier or make sure they exercise and that sort of thing. They'll have to get creative because, can't go to the gym and stuff. But I think that definitely, it can kind of signal it, to kind of to let your brain know this is about to happen and to get ready. So I love that.
If you really want to kick it up a notch, I have a room spray that I spray in the morning and a different one that I spray at night. And
that's huge. Like, the senses, appeal to the senses. I like it.
I did it because I'm trying to be a little bit more of a minimalist. And so I was trying to use up these room sprays that I have. And I was like, oh, it actually signals my body that it is time to be up and now it's time to go to bed. So that's really huge too.
Well, and I
And
bet you
then in
people with coffee in the morning, like that scent of smell, probably, I mean, we all know the Folgers coffee commercial where they
oh my
smell it and
gosh,
stuff.
yeah,
But I do
yeah.
think it's
That's
true.
It is. And just thinking about my latte for the next day, it's so funny. It makes me want to fall asleep faster so that I can like sleep fast and get up and make that iced latte. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but that's my thing at this point.
Well, and so to that regard, it might be good if you make sure that you have at least something good in your morning routine that you look forward to, whether it's time alone or that special drink or a time, if you want to write or whatever that could be, or listen to your favorite music or something to where you look forward to it so that you'll actually start it, especially in the beginning, I would think.
And if you dread your morning, you're going to end up dreading your day. And if you're feeling dread, I feel like nothing good can come out of the day if you're feeling dread. So you definitely want to start on a positive note.
So if someone is wanting to kind of start, and so they start with the morning routine and then they try to lock in that evening routine, which I definitely think that they will be very motivated to do the evening routine so they can get those kids in bed and have a minute of like peace before the day resets. So if they had to pick one, I definitely think start there. And then I do think that it could be time-based or time blocking based. So like based on the thing. And what's cool with the kids is they actually start noticing it too, like the kind of first and then type of chart. Kind of like this happens, then this, maybe not even if you want to be more flexible with the time, but just keep the chunks the same. I think that's huge too. Which I've even done that with my kids. There's a book and then this, and then maybe we're running late. So the book suddenly is fast. You know what I mean? Like, or the song's a little shorter or something. So, but you still did it. So they know what's coming next, which I think's good. So, but I know that you go ahead.
Oh, and that tactic for daytime is perfect too. I've seen a lot of things on social media now where people have these impeccable schedules drawn out that is trying to match the work day and the school day. And they are just setting themselves up for failure. A superhero couldn't maintain that schedule with kids at home and meals and homework and all that. So that's just not going to happen. And so I just try to set, like you said, this and then this and then this for the day. It doesn't have to even be specific set amount of times, just tasks.
Well, and I think that will make it to where they don't feel like you said, that they fail, and that it might alleviate some mom guilt too. Like, that you are like, so if they're really into a task, like you're not saying it has to last 20 minutes. You're saying, they do this and then we do this, and so, I mean, I think that if they're really into this, I don't know, the zoo is doing something at 3 p.m. about animals every day on live. Like if they're really into the hippo that they're talking about and they want to go like make a hippo or learn about the hippo. My son keeps asking Alexa questions, so I know a lot about hippos right now, guys. But it's actually better because then they can kind of go with their learning, and it's open-ended, which I love too. So if someone's wanting help from you, like what do you help them with? Like, how does this start? Like if someone wants to work with you, what do they do?
Typically, people will work with me via my course. That is how I serve most people. They can get really quick wins that way. The course is made for 3 days, but they can do it in 1 day very easily.
Okay.
And then I do offer one-on-one coaching as well, in however many sessions they would like, just one, or if they need 10, we can do 10. But really, I start with, I kind of have just a natural progression where first we figure out how much time they have and where it's going. And then from there, we kind of piece it together with how much time is the to-do list taking up and the priorities. And then from there, making sure the priorities are right for them and then kind of setting them into a schedule.
Okay, great. And are you finding that people have to prioritize maybe first, or do you have any tips when it comes to figuring out the habits or the priorities to kind of fit in, because I feel like people are trying to fit too much in. Like, I think that's probably one of the biggest problems. And right now, it might seem like we have so much time, but we have also a lot of things. Like, so we're at home now. So now everyone has to clean everything, right? And they need to homeschool their kids and still work and make money. And, oh, what about this? So, oh, and all of these live things like the zoo, right? So now I have all these things that I need to like plug into. Apparently there's like a Mo Willems like doodle thing I need to try to get my kids to do. And all of these things that are pulling for our attention.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So how do how do you edit, I guess, what you need to include?
Yeah. Well, the first thing to think about really kind of targets the mindset is that everybody right now, whether they have kids at home or a spouse or a family, they're getting their people through a crisis. You know, this is kind of crisis mode for the whole world. And even though we feel safe in our homes, it's still an unprecedented situation, and you're getting your family through that. So that's your main priority. And if you are here, start with a clean slate and add in just 3 priorities. So what would they be right now? Work, school, and food, probably. If you don't make the lives, you don't make the lives. If you don't have a perfectly clean house right now, you know, what's going to happen? Would you rather have the clean house or make money at work? So I like to start with a clean slate. And then before I add one in, really think about it, even journal about it. That's what I did when I had way too many things going on. You know, what is it doing for your life? Is it important for the big picture? And then from there, if you want to take it even further, is, look at those 3 main priorities. You might have more if your life is really busy right now, but 3 is a good number. And then take a look at your to-do list and try and match those tasks up with your priorities and see if you're on like a daily basis working on things that are those priorities. If your to-do list is a bunch of lives, that's not on your priorities, then you might want to edit those out, at least at the beginning.
I love that. And I think that 3 is also a good number, and it makes it to where it's doable. Also, I think that people kind of need to recheck their time. So people will kind of think like, I have all these things, and I know I'm speaking to myself, but if you go in your phone and you check like how much screen time you've had, because we don't notice like how much we hold our phone and we click on it and we say it's work, or we say it's for the lives, for, all of that extra stuff, that we're really just scrolling and that sort of thing. And so I think that trying to be more mindful maybe of where we're putting our time. So if I'm going to make like a budget for myself, like say even money, you almost need to have a baseline. So maybe people could track or something somehow and try to figure out where they're putting their time now. That would be probably a good start, and then see where you're wasting it, right? Because I feel like
and that's so funny that you bring that up. That's exactly how I start my course.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us more about your course.
Yes, it's called this, or I even have it as a freebie too. So like, course aside, it's just where I start with everybody.
Yeah.
It's called the Schedule Audit, and I talk about how we all have 168 hours in a week. And so I just start subtracting necessities, like start with that 168 and subtract how many hours of sleep you need to get a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important.
That does need to be really important, especially now, because if you don't get enough sleep, you're susceptible to getting sick, first of all.
Yes.
And your brain, you're not going to eat as healthy. And I can tell you, because right now, Thea can get out of her crib. Like starting this weekend, which is insane. She'll wake up. Normally I let her cry for like a minute and she'll go back to bed. And well, now I feel like I need to like run in there or stare at the screen. It's been rough. I've been up since 4:30 today. So I need to probably go to bed now. No. But sleep is really important. I definitely agree. So then you take away sleep, and then
I take away those 3 priorities that I've said.
Okay.
And then from there, you really see how much time you have extra. Not that it's, not, you're not going to think of it as extra probably because life has a million things you have to do, but that's how much time is going towards other things. And so you can look at your screen time or your Netflix, usage, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you can start to fill in that time with other things.
I think this is really powerful because right now we don't feel like we have control of a lot of things. But the one thing you do control is you and what you do during the day, your habits, your time, like that sequence we're talking about, that schedule, you have control over it. So I think that could give you a little bit of power, especially with this time being so filled with uncertainty and what comes next and what all of this. You can have kind of that knowing, and that I feel like that would help you even with your confidence and with your mindset for sure, just with coping with it, with coping with being alone and isolated from the world and just the change. We don't do change well. Just people in general,
No.
So
especially a big one like this.
Yeah, this is not typical for sure. This is definitely huge. But I think in general, it's just not something that we like. Like it's kind of that flight or fight reaction, So I definitely love all of your tips, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us about all of this. Where can we find you on social media, or where do you like to hang out and that sort of thing?
So I hang out mostly on Instagram. You can find me at Marin Emily Johnson. It's Marin and then just Emily Johnson, SON. Or I'm on my website a lot too. I just redesigned that and I'm so happy about it. I just look at it all the time and I'm always adding things to it. And so that's just marinemily.com. And those are the two places I hang out most. Although I do hang out in the groups, as you know, so maybe I will run into some of you there. But reach out to me on Instagram too if you want some help with time management. I've got a ton of time right now to help you for free. I just love helping people with it right now.
I love that. And I will. And I know that so many of the people listening that maybe they will take this time to kind of take that leap to do what you did and just start. And so definitely taking control of their time is going to be a huge part of that and their habits. So, all right. Well, I look forward to following you on Instagram. Until next time, remember, you are capable, you are strong, and you are your mother's daughter. Thank you. And with love and abundance, Angel. Hey mama, before you go, if you found value in today's podcast or you learned something new, stop over to iTunes and leave me a review. I love hearing what you are thinking of the show and also connecting with you over on social media. You can find me on Instagram at angel.mcelhaney or on Facebook. So check the show notes for that crazy last name. And until next time, I just want to remind you, you are capable, you are strong, and you can do the hard things. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel.